Hi folks, welcome to your Gersnet immediate post-match reaction pod. No, I'm not going to stop and start again just because there's a couple of boys going past with massive wheelie bins there that are making all sorts of noise in the background. For some reason I can't be bothered with that tonight, stopping and starting again. I just want to get home as quickly as possible. Can't really think why. Coming to you in association with Forest Precision Engineering. No, I'm not going to do the wee funny prologue bit. That's something funny is a matter of taste, I suppose. But I usually do a wee bit at the beginning sometimes, I think. I'm feeling a bit daft and a bit silly, but no feeling like that tonight for some strange reason. And also coming to you in association with our friends at Football Prizes. I mean, look, it was 48 minutes I did on the Kilmarnock game, the post-match reaction to the Kilmarnock game the other night. So your eardrums deserve a break from me. That's all it is. I just want to get him in there, get parked on the couch. My name's Alec Anderson, directionless, it's plain to see. A loaded gun won't set you free, or so you say. Coming to you from outside an absolutely raging Ibrox, everybody's going nuts and what have you. I mean, it's like when Suede did Animal Nitrate at the Brits, when Free Trade Hall in Manchester. When the Pistols played there in '77, at the beginning of 24-hour party. People know 10 years before that when Dylan went electric. They didn't actually go electric at the Free Trade Hall in Manchester, but of all the abuse he got on that tour, that's the guy shouting Judas. They had that on film. That's the famous bit. Judas, it's just like that, and there where everybody's just thinking we should have signed Lawrence Shankland. We try to kid. If we'd signed Lawrence Shankland, that corkscrew would have actually hit him the other night. It'd probably have taken out one of his eyes, and the pie that he took a bite out of would have been straight to his arteries, and he probably had a massive heart attack on Thursday. I mean, Michael Beale beat Motherwell at Ibrox this season in the league. That's what I'm saying. I mean, Michael Beale, who signed Jack Butland and Todd Cantwell, but I feel like Clement beat Real Betis. Well, Michael Beale beat Real Betis, didn't he? In fact, who's the hottest managerial property in Europe right now? Right now, who is it? It's Xabi Alonso. Xabi Alonso with Bayern Leverkusen. He's going to win the Bundesliga for the first. Never right off Bayern. He's going to win the Bundesliga with Bayern Leverkusen. Xabi Alonso. And what was Michael Beale's first game as Rangers manager? Pumping Xabi Alonso's Bayern Leverkusen by 3-0. Yes, it was. Look it up. So I think we've made an absolutely massive mistake there with Michael Beale, as Philippe Clement today went down to his first home defeat, Rangers losing by 2-1 to an excellent Motherwell in this afternoon's SPFL Premiership tie here at Ibrox. A win which means we are top of the league still, might only be for a few hours. I think we're all thoroughly expecting our friends from across the city to stuff Hearts at Tynecastle tomorrow like what they usually do, but you never know. The main thing is we're up there, but the most they'll do is go a point clear of us. And this is the 2nd of March, and it was the 2nd of January that this winning run we've been on started. Started with a home win over Kilmarnock, and the last win of that run was an away win over Kilmarnock. It's been good fun, folks. It has been good fun. They have this thing in Italian football, which, sorry if I've mentioned this before, it's one of my favourite boring anecdotes. Was it Gunnar Gren, one of the Grenoli trio that was at Milan in the 50s, the Swedish fellas. In the 50s, I think the first time it had been recorded happening was one of them made a mistake. Nordahl, Gren, whatever. One of them made a wee mistake, Niels Leotold perhaps, and it led to a goal for the opposition, and the whole of the San Siro stood up and started applauding them, because it was the first mistake they could really remember him making. I think the same thing happened with big fella that plays for France at the back, one of the greatest defenders you've ever seen in your life, scored 2 goals in the 1998 World Cup semi-final. Good God, that's been that kind of day. My brain's just completely gone. I can't actually remember one of my favourite defenders of all time, and I can't actually get his name. He played here for Parma as well. I don't know if it was Parma or Juventus, but Lilian Thuram, his boy plays for Borussia Mönchengladbach last I saw him. Lilian Thuram, and he made a mistake. I don't know if it was for Parma or for Juventus. Same thing happened. The whole crowd just stopped. It led to a goal to the opposition, and the whole crowd just got up and applauded him because it was the first mistake they remembered him making. And I think there wasn't massive applause for Rangers today, but they certainly weren't getting booed off the park like they were under Michael Beale. There was a kind of just get up and get out of here. I think most people understand what's going on. There was light applause for the players. They weren't getting any hassle from the crowd today, and quite rightly so. I think we realise what's been going on here. That's a 11-game winning streak coming to an end today. Yes, there's plenty of disappointment But I think we kind of realised the massive strides we've made under Clement, and that's him lost a game at Ibrox. He drew, and he's drawn one game at Ibrox as well. That was the game with RS Limassol. So both those games, Ross McCausland has to go off. Ross McCausland come on in the first half of the game against RS Limassol, and he's gone off in the first half today, but through injury. What is he's lost at Parkhead and drawn at Pataudry. He has drawn away to. So the only thing he's really not done is have a home draw domestically, and an away or any kind of defeat in Europe. And we're away to Benfica on Thursday night. So maybe it's that part of the season where things start to go a bit awry, and it's just. It's always annoying. It's never good to get beat, but it's just time. It's just time. I was having a great week last week. Really, I think we all were. Didn't think things would get any better. I had that thing. You get that thing. I'm in my 50s, so you've got to do the old, the bowel cancer thing. And I got it back again. 0 for 3, as they say. I've managed to dodge the bullet in that one again. And of course, instead of just thinking, Alec, you're morbidly obese, that is really quite lucky, you need to sort yourself out, you're immediately thinking, right, that's great, that means it's another 2 years of me eating and drinking whatever I want, because obviously that's the only cancer that will ever affect me. And I won't have a heart attack or a stroke or anything like that either. It's just that's me. I've got the all clear. I'm good to go. That basically says you're the fittest person we know, Alec. And also the bins get taken away, the glass bins are getting taken away for Ibrox. The glass bins get taken away in our street as well, because the boys, it's like in January, Glasgow's just a city of glass. They couldn't make the last collection. It's a Paul Auster story reference there. And so the glass bins finally get taken away last week as well. So it was a week of relief, and then we're going down at half time at Rugby Park, and you think we're going to end up second in the league straight away tonight. Celtic 6-0 up, but we turn that round, a massive relief. And yesterday I was about to press the button. The only Michael Mann film I haven't seen is Black Hat, which by all accounts is an awful film. They pressed the button on Prime because they finally got it. Prime weren't even offering it, Amazon Prime, £3.49. So I was going to press the button on that yesterday, and just suddenly I remembered, it's Ferrari. Michael Mann's Ferrari is on. I've seen it in the pictures, but it was on Sky Cinema for the first time last night, and I just went to check what time it was on to record it, really. And I noticed it was a Michael Mann channel, the Michael Mann weekend, dedicating a channel to him. There's only about 6 of his films, but one of them is Black Hat. So I got that. Instead of spending a massive £3.49, I said that's a massive relief. I saved myself £3.49. I've got it recorded. Maybe watch that tomorrow. Round about lunchtime, just to keep my mind off things. And I think everything is going absolutely fantastic. And I'm watching Heat last night, because I switched over again last night just to see Michael Mann. You can't help yourself. And when Heat's on, you've just got to keep watching it, and it's time, isn't it? It's all about time. I think it's a work-life balance film, really. It's all about the work-life balance. Folk try to do what they've got to do, and try to maintain a relationship with their partners, or try to find the right person to have a relationship with, and then want to get enough done at their work that they've got the time to enjoy themselves with their partners, and the struggle of that. So there's a lot of stuff about communication, lots of phones and all that involved, and that's that cellular, you're on a landline, all this kind of stuff. I go into that in more detail, but that doesn't really apply here. The other thing is time. And it's the very start of the film. They're chasing the guys, they're stalking the guys that are in the security van. Where they're right on schedule, right on time. And then it cuts to Al Pacino, who's having it half with his wife, and then just after that she's like, "No, you take me to breakfast." Canny, I've got to go and meet Bosco. And the wee lassie, Natalie Portman, she comes in, she's worried about her dad. He's already half an hour late. Her dad's coming to pick her up, her real dad. And it turns out she's like, "I've got to be on. Where's my barrettes?" Mum, she freaks out. "Where's my barrettes?" And I've got to get my barrettes. I must be on time. I can't be late. I will be late. And then Al Pacino, she's, the wife saying to Al Pacino, "It's just, I'll make coffee if you want." I don't have time. And all the way through the film, it's about time. At the end of the most famous bit in Heat is Robert De Niro saying, you've never attached yourself to anything you can't walk out on if you feel the heat coming around the corner, but it's never attached yourself to anything you can't walk out on in 30 seconds flat. It specifies an actual time that you've got to be able to get away from your life if the police are coming to get you. At the end, when he's going to get Waingro, he says to Nate, "Right, where's Waingro? I want to get." And Nate says, "Have you got time?" "I'll make time." And then he just decides, "No, I'm going to go away. I'm going to get off to New Zealand with Edie, the woman of my dreams, and I'm going to live a quiet life." But he can't help himself. He has to get Waingro. So he drives off the motorway, and Edie's like, "We get time?" He's like, "We've got time. There's time." And even the bank robbery scene, the very start of the bank robbery scene, the Brian Eno tune, what is it? Force marker. It sounds like a kind of countdown. The countdown. It's a bit. It's like a stopwatch. Ding, 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 ding. It's a ticking clock, really, at the start of that famous tune. Over the bank robbery there. There's other time references, and there's references to time all the way through it. But he has the famous coffee shop scene filmed in Kate Mantilini's no longer there. Actually, Kate Mantilini's in Los Angeles, so that's one I can't do. But when him and Pacino, or De Niro and Pacino face to face, their characters, as they say, Neil Macaulay and Vincent Hanna, and we've been face to face, yeah. But also it's De Niro and Pacino the first time ever in an actual scene together. They start talking about their dreams. I have one where I'm drowning. Do you know what that's about? Yeah, having enough time to do what you want to do. Aye, they just don't have enough time when De Niro's got to plead with Edie about, why he needs her, even though she's found out he's actually a bit of a bank robber and a wee bit of a murderer. Maybe he's no the man for her. She's having little doubts about the relationship, but he persuades her. He says he doesn't really know how to say it. He's not a man for speeches, but he just says, "I know that life's short, and whatever time you get is luck." Right, that should be us. That should be us rid of all the Celtic fans, That should be us rid of all the Celtic fans. Motherwell fans, perfectly welcome to stay. That's me, had my wee ramble. What happened to day trips? I think the reason I'm talking about time is I think our manager just ran out of it today. He was almost getting there. It's been time management. You can't stop time. This isn't Donnie Darko I'm talking about. You don't get a wormhole through the space-time continuum. It's more like with Neil and I, where Richard E. Grant driving down the M6 and the M1 pissed out his skull with Marwood sleeping in the back seat, and he said, I'm making time, and that's what Philip Clement has been doing magnificently since he arrived here in October, and it just ran out today. It would have been just perfect if we would have got the 3 points today to take us into this period where, yeah, we've got massive European game, massive Scottish Cup game, massive European game in our next 3 fixtures. We've got the league game in 2 weeks' time up at Dens Park. 12 o'clock on a Sunday, we're never at our best at that time, but it should be doable, and that's it. We'll get Hibs on the 30th of March, and although it's intense in terms of you're playing across 3 competitions, big games in 3 competitions, it's only 2 league games. This is the competition where we need most time. And it's just like the thing Cortez. Today's defeat, I think, started on Wednesday night. The moment where Oscar Cortez, what a killer, as Neil Young says, when he inspirational in the second goal put away by Tom Lawrence. He was the best player in the park, I thought, over the whole game. Cortez, he plugged away in the first half, even though nothing was going for him the same way it wasn't going for anybody else in Rangers' red with blue splotches in that game. That's our 4th kit, and it was the 4th time the Old Firm had been to Rugby Park this season. It was the first time they won. Anyway, but he was on a game, and it's almost as soon as we went 2-1 up, I think just after we hit the bar with a chance to go 3-1 up, Cortez has that injury, and of course it's serious. You knew straight away. I know there's a lot of talk in the presser yesterday, but we didn't know just think how bad it was going to be. But the news has come out today that it is serious. Of course it's serious, because the minute anybody becomes a starter, and Cortez was becoming a starter, the same as Diamondi has become a starter over the last 3 or 4 games, the signings that the manager had a chance to bring in, we can bring in his own type of player. He gets injured. He gets the Rangers disease, which is getting injured and been out for a while, and you hadn't missed. I was same as yourself. I was just absolutely gutted when we lost Abdallah Sima, first to AFCON and then to injury at AFCON, which has come back with him, and he's just coming. But the manager said he's going to be running on grass next week, not with the ball. You're thinking, if we've only got 2 league games in the whole of March, we could get through that. We could get him back. Danilo won't be much further behind him, and he's an absolutely cracking player. We're going to Dens. Danilo, when we played up at Dens the last time, we won 5-0 up there. Celtic winning by 6 goals at home to Dundee the other night. Well, we beat Dundee 5-0 in their own patch. There's nothing between the teams, and it's things like this, these players we can get back. I thought we're just making that time. Making the time. We're going to get Danilo back. We're going to get Sima back. We could have got him back as well if we could just get through this game today. Motherwell, I don't know anything about Motherwell's injuries. I'm not making excuses here. This is just a reason, And Motherwell, they also played on plastic midweek. They had a big win. I know it was at Livingston, who were having a terrible season. I don't know how their game went. I didn't see the highlights of the Motherwell Livingston game the other night. But Motherwell were at home to Celtic last week. A bit of an epic game there, and then they've played plastic on Wednesday night, same as ourselves. So there's no excuses in terms of. In terms of Motherwell having an easier schedule than us, it's been almost exactly the same schedule. And the manager mentioned yesterday that they've been scoring a lot of goals, but it wasn't happening today at all. And the only thing I can put it down to is not just, we've made 4 changes again today, and that's something the manager's been doing. That's how he's been making time. He's been getting the players that are, solid, usually. Connor Goldson, terrible time of the day. Jack Butland, James Tavernier at right back, and latterly John Lundstrom in the sitting 2 in midfield. And he was just starting to build round that with Diamonde and Cortez as well. Cortez goes out the other night, and that's it. I think that's the start of the downfall. But today, I think the changes today, and they led to knock-ons. We had 4 changes to the starting 11 that was at Kilmarnock the other night. Obviously with Borna Barisic, he's backed into the bench after having had a terrible game against Kilmarnock. He just completely lost the plot, I think, Borna the other night. So a man who's been playing really well, and I think was probably our man of the match again today, Ridvan Yilmaz. He comes back in at left back. I don't want to get too up in there. We're talking about film. I'm talking about films because I don't want to talk about football today. But that the other day, Borna comes in, has a bad game. Fair dues, but some of the reaction to that, he should never have been on the parking list. Well, it's been working absolutely fine for Clement so far, rotating the squad, rotating everybody except that solid 4 he's got, as I say. It was a bit like, and rotation is good. It's like, for example, it was a bit like terrible miscasting, like 4 weddings and a funeral. I know Richard Curtis was a Mike Newell director. Know the Mike Newell that won the league with Blackburn and then ended up at Pittodrie. It's Mike Newell, the film director, and Andy McDowell's a good actress, but the idea that Kristen Scott Thomas is coming up to you and saying, "I'm madly in love with you, and I always have been. You're the man for me," and you go, bit awkward that, because I'm flattered in that, but there's this Andy McDowell, this American woman that I met. No, that's just preposterous. I know jumping the shark is a television thing, but my God, that's one of the worst moments in cinema history. It's like just so unbelievable that you're knocking back Kristen Scott Thomas. She's done up and everything now. She's looking absolute. Anyway, but it doesn't mean Andy McDowell's a bad actress. Obviously she was the big name. She was a Hollywood actress. She came in and was the money behind the movie. Well, she get paid big money, but she was going to make it box office. So Hugh Grant's got to pretend that she's more suited to him than Kristen Scott Thomas. So it doesn't mean Annie McDowell's a bad actress, though. Sexualising videotapes is absolutely great. It's just that was more suited to her, and it's a bit. I just don't think Borna's suited to the plastic. I've seen him being tentative a few times at Rugby Park. We know Borna has bad games every now and then. There's some bad ones at Parkhead as well, which is a bad place to have him. But this is the man that put in the cross that won the League Cup final this season. Never mind all the crosses he put in to win his games at our first game at Parkhead under Gerrard, our first one at Parkhead, so we come back into the top flight, and all the crosses to Tav at the back post in Europe and at Hamilton on that during the 55 season. So it doesn't mean it was a terrible decision to have Borna starting the other night. But Borna, the long and short of it is, always making jokes about the shortness. Even the manager was doing it yesterday. Pure Ridvan. He's back in at left back today, and we've got a change in every department. So that's the defence. The other one in midfield, we've brought in Nico Raskin to sit beside John Lundstrom in the sitting 2 in midfield, and that means that Diamonde, although he started the night at Kilmarnock, he's now gone up to the 10. We've also got Dessers starting up front instead of Silva, and we've got Dujon, utility man, Sterling out on the right hand side, which means that Ross McCausland is getting moved to the left hand side. And that's 2 moves as well as 4 changes. I think it was just too much, to be honest with you. And I think also Rangers looked like they had they were still recovering from the effort from the being so down and then dragging it out of themselves to get this magnificent win at Rugby Park the other night on the plastic in the rain, and all the emotion of that game. The time. You're hoping that we're going to down to 10 men against Aberdeen while we're 2-1 up here, and you're needing it to be as little injury time as possible. You're wishing it away. The other night we're 2-1 up at Kilmarnock, and you know they always score late, and it's 6 minutes injury time, and then at the end of that 6 minutes, because Scott Wright's been doing, Kilmarnock get 3 corners from minute 70, minute 8, and it's like too much time. It's too much to just get that. Same thing as Aberdeen that day. There's games like the Hearts here. The first time we played them under Clermont, the first time we came to Ibrox this season, we're wanting more time in because we're 1-0 down, hitting the 90th minute, we get a penalty, we get another goal. It's all about time. It's all about time management. And today it just ran out. Cortez was just one injury too many. We even got Kamar Roof back for a few minutes last week against Aberdeen. He couldn't play in the plastic at Kilmarnock. By the time he comes on the part of the day, he's still a bit ring rusty. And it only usually takes 2 games, 2 sub appearances for Kamar Roof to start being absolutely magnificent. So we have to bring Silva on the day because I need to see it again on the television. Obviously, everybody around about me is howling for a red card from Motherwell player. I don't know what's happened, but Ross McCausland has got really hurt on the half-hour mark, and he's had to go off the day, and Silva comes on. So that's what I would maybe have. Silva played wide left of a front 3 and a 4-3-3 for PSV Eindhoven when he was on loan there from Wolves. So I would have thought maybe he could have started, but obviously the manager doesn't want to risk both our strikers because Silva is now striker number 2 after Dessers. In fact, they're both kind of striker a half that are sharing the job. So the way Clermont has been working things, he doesn't want them sharing. Doesn't want them both in the park at the same time. But Ross McCausland was just a kind of placeholder today, and Ridvan Yilmaz was doing all the work down the left hand side. And Ross McCausland, he's been absolutely fantastic for Rangers since he came in, and I think the man who's really got to look at himself today is Scott Wright. Again, we've got a utility player out on the right hand side, young Ross McCausland getting moved but still on the park. I know we've seen Scott Wright playing the left hand side, and that's not a great thing either. And he's had a great performance. That performance against Hearts at Hampden in the League Cup semi-final, Scott Wright was fantastic coming on as a sub, but that's left a big hole today when he can't come on and just play as a right winger like what he is supposed to. So it's disappointing. But we didn't get going at all. We didn't get going at all today, and it was about 4 or 5. I eventually just looked up at the clock, and it was like 4 minutes 30 seconds or something like that. I thought, we've not actually touched the ball in Motherwell's half yet. And you're just in the way of Rangers winning these days, and you're thinking, it's fine, this is fine. We're just finding our feet. We're just getting together, and slowly you realise, no, we're not. And I say slowly, I mean you've got 3 minutes to realise that you weren't, because I think it was the 8th, 9th minute that Motherwell scored. Again, the one and only John Souttar seemed to be getting under the ball and getting in a bit of a fankle. And I'm going to have to move here because there's a boy here who's just obviously looking to chat to folk. John Souttar, I don't want to lay the blame on him again. Apart from anything else, when Rangers start playing badly, I start just blanking things out. I can't actually handle it. So I'm not fully concentrating, even though it was right in front of me. But John Souttar didn't look like he was fully concentrating either. It might not have been his fault, whatever, but the ball was underneath. He just gets taken out of the game altogether. It seemed like a ball that was much easier to deal with, and he ends up. Is it Bear, the fella Bear, the number 14, who plays up front for Motherwell, and is a total revelation today, an absolute nightmare for us. I think he kind of cuts across and curls it past Jack Butland. So it's like 9-10 minutes on the clock, and that's us a goal down, and you're hoping that's going to waken us up. But you know that having come back from a goal down at Motherwell the other night, Kilmarnock the other night, you're struggling to do that 2 games in a row. Usually. But it's Motherwell at home, shouldn't be that much of a problem. But as the manager was saying yesterday, they've scored the most goals in the league after the Old Firm, and we couldn't get a grip at all. We couldn't get a grip at all in the midfield. They were doing that. I think teams are onto the way we play, obviously. It's still the 4-2-3-1 formation we had under Beale. We're playing it a different way. But I think Kettlewell will probably have watched how Kilmarnock had a go at us the other night, and it's just to flood the spaces in between the sitting 2 and the players, the 3 in front of them and the 4 behind them. And Motherwell, at times today it looked like they were playing 4-3-3. I think it was a 4-4-2 most of the time, but they were just getting in about us. They seemed to have more energy, certainly more organisation, and they were the last team in the world. You could tell within the first 5 minutes, you don't want to lose the first goal here. It's going to suit them down to a T, and it really did. We come back into the game, I think 15-20 minutes, we started pulling ourselves back in, kind of, on the face of it, so to speak. We had more of the ball, there was more about us, and I think Silva maybe offered a bit more when he came on for the injured Ross McCausland, but we weren't great in the first half at all. Going there half time, 1-0 down, Tom Lawrence comes on for Raskin, who was anonymous, taking his sweet time coming back from injury properly. Nico Raskin, under a Belgian manager, you think he'd be getting on better. He scored in his first game for Clermont, but it wasn't happening at all. So he goes off and Tom Lawrence comes on. He's a man who is himself coming back from long-term injury, and it was a bit better in the first half hour of the second half. We had a lot of the ball, we had all the pressure. Motherwell were struggling to get out of their half. A couple of times they looked bloody dangerous. Bear was giving our centre halves a nightmare, particularly Connor Goldson. Tavernier wasn't having a great game. We got the goal. I got a penalty. It was over the other side of the park from me, over the Govan stand side. Silva, he's Portuguese, so I'm always imagining he's at it. But I need to see it back, and the referee certainly got a chance to see it back, because he went up in the air and he was rolling about in the deck as if fouled in the box, and it got referred to VAR, and the referee came out and decided that it was a penalty to Rangers. Tav steps up, was having a good game today, Tav. A lot of misplaced passes. I think he was listening to Stuart Weir in last night's Gersnet pre-match pod. His confidence took a dent, and the whole defence took a dent today, and he stepped up. Except for Yilmaz, sorry. I'm taking a dent as well. It's a bad performance all round for everybody associated with Rangers today. Tav steps up, a monster penalty right into the top corner, and I think particularly when a player like that's having a bad game, and you always get that fear, you always get that fear because he's scoring so many penalties these days that it's a law of averages, he's going to miss one soon. But in it went, and you're hoping for us to kick on, and there was lots of puff, lots of attempts and all that, but it never really happened. Like, some great saves by Liam Kelly. Motherwell did a wee tiny bit of time wasting, but nothing particularly bad. This one was all on us. Motherwell having the clearances off the line, all that kind of stuff. Roof comes on later on. But Motherwell, it was 75 minutes just. They would already look pretty potent every time they went forward. Motherwell Bear was a fantastic target for them to pin things onto when they're knocking the ball up the park, but he's fast as well as huge, as well as skillful. And of course, Blair Spittle's having a great season now for Motherwell, and they ended up, it was a corner, I don't know if it was straight from the corner, if it was a flick on, but they bundled it in at the back post. We were all at sea, defence an absolute nightmare, in it goes. It's 75 minutes, and by that point you're thinking, I think after that, apart from a wee splurge, as I say, when they were saving the ball on the line and what have you, it just did look like it was more likely to be Motherwell 3, Rangers 1 rather than 2 each. Makes a massive difference for us not to even get the draw, because if Celtic win tomorrow, we would be level on points, so they'll go ahead on goal difference. But for us to actually get beat today is pretty bad. But as I say, we've got to get things into perspective. The main thing was that we were back challenging. Philip Clement is improving us, and I think with only one game we haven't won the last 12, every game of this year so far, that is fantastic improvement. But bad day at the office, really bad day at the office. And the one thing I will say is we've had every kind of, under Clement, it's been every kind of chasing the points, trying not to let Celtic go out of sight and kind of dragging them back. And then you had a couple of games where you could have went ahead of them in goal difference. Eventually we get a chance to go ahead of them on points. We're winning the games, and we a chance to go ahead of them on points, and we romp it 3-0 up at St Johnstone. Can you handle being top of the league? We beat Hearts 5-0. During the week there was a kind of reversal. The teams, the last 2 rounds of league fixtures, the teams have kind of reversed each other, if you know what I mean. We're winning massively comfortably at home against Hearts last week. And I think that's the thing, where you're pumping Hearts. This was supposed to happen last Saturday in terms of the teams involved's form over this season. It was supposed to be Hearts that were giving us a hard game at Ibrox, and we've destroyed them, which kind of helped raising expectations today. But we're winning the home game massively, and then Celtic are 1-0 down at half time, but come back, just to keep within touch of us, to stop us going 4 or 5 points clear last Sunday. And then on Wednesday night, although both teams are playing at the same time this time, it's Celtic are 6-0 up at half time, and we're losing at half time, and they're back top of the league technically speaking, and we managed to turn that round. So the one thing that hasn't really happened since Clement has got back neck and neck with Celtic is us doing the old thing where we slip up on the Saturday and you just say, right, on you go, take it away. It's one of those ones. Celtic will take it away tomorrow. I think they won 4-1 the last time they played at Tynecastle. It's a place they actually enjoy playing. Hearts at Tynecastle is a bit like us at Easter Road. It's supposed to be, a nightmare for it, and every now and then you have a really bad game there, but most of the time they actually really enjoy themselves at Tynecastle. Celtic, the same as we really end up enjoying ourselves at Easter Road most of the time, although I don't think we might in the Scottish Cup next week. But It's one of those ones, if they do slip up tomorrow, it will have a kind of doubly negative. It will really jar on them. But it's a chance I would rather not have been taken. I am clutching, yes, I definitely am clutching with that one. But it's the most Celtic will do is go a point clear tomorrow, and that's okay. It could have been a lot better. But you have to look at where we were when Philip Clement arrived and be pretty chuffed with overall progress, and that's what it's all about in this first season, not even a full season he'll get. Not a good day at the office. I think injuries and just the whole kind of having to turn the club round and change everything about the staff and the squad and what have you has just eventually got to us today, and we lost it. And also compliment to Motherwell, who were absolutely fantastic. Great game plan. Stuart Kettlewell, when he came here to Ibrox earlier in the season, and we beat them 1-0. We only beat them 1-0, and they gave us a lot of worries that day. And I remember after the game, we were thinking it's because Michael Beale's crap. But at the end of the game, Stuart Kettlewell was really proud and talking up his team and said they'll always play that way. They sat in a bit more the day, but mostly because they had to. They only sat in when they had to, and they knew how to do that as well. They defended like demons. But fair play to them. They really did. He stuck by his word. Kettlewell. He's had a really hard time since that the last time he was at Ibrox, but he's stuck by his guns, and his team have definitely improved. But nobody at Rangers is going to care about that, are they? So I think Scott and Craig, if they can be bothered, obviously I can hardly be bothered with this. Obviously, they might have done you a wee pod from Inside Troops. If they have, checked that out. It'll be a lot more concise, a lot more to the point, a lot more accurate than mine. And tomorrow night it will be Brian the legend, Brian Archer, a man such a good host that. Our centre forward has a celebration in his honour. My old mucker Colin Armstrong, the man that started this, so he started the post-match reaction pod, so just blame him. What you're listening to now, it's his fault. And he'll be joined by the one and only Gary Valentine. So that's sure to be a cracking pod, folks. Check that out. I will be back late Wednesday, early Thursday with a preview of the game in Lisbon, and I think I'll just tie it up there. I've got a whole story. Thanks Benfica. We're about to play Benfica, but I'll maybe save that for Wednesday when I'm in a kind of mood to deliver it. I've kept you long enough. I don't really know how to end this except to say Black Hat. It's on Sky Movies, the Michael Mann channel. It's supposed to be the worst of all the Michael Mann films, but just get on that channel and just watch that through to Monday morning, really. Cheers, folks.